What's up, everyone? This is CryptoVatsik. Thank you so much for tuning in. I got an exciting video for you today, but before we get started, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button to support the channel. Nothing of what you're about to see is considered financial advice. Okay, in today's technical analysis video, I'm going to be covering BNB, Binance Coin. I think with everything going on in the market today, it was very fitting to cover this one. So let's get right into it. So right off the bat, I like to see where we bottomed out and why that was. We had this previous area of consolidation over here, right? In that yellow box there, right, from this previous consolidation, this choppiness over here was really our ultimate target as we started coming back down. There's a bunch of wicks in here as well, and it ended up coming all the way back down, actually to the bottom of this wick there. So we'll take it down to the bottom of that wick, and that's our current bottom, so to speak. And the reason why I want to point this out is because it gives us perspective that if this is not our bottom, we'll go to the flip to the logarithmic chart here. Okay, where's the next likely area that we're going to bottom? Does that look like a generational cyclical bottom right there? Potentially. It could happen, right? But to me, this kind of looks like a drop off a cliff, okay? And ultimately, I'd be going back to the original beginning of our bull cycle. Unfortunately, I know that's very scary, but if things get really ugly, that's where I'd be looking. Potentially, we bottom in this little tiny piece of consolidation there. But as we are standing now, we look at the current bottom that we have. That's fine. It's just good to be objective and understand context. Okay, let's get into what we're seeing currently. I'm just going to make this smaller for now down there. Okay, so I like to talk about origins of breakdown a lot. Where's the origin of breakdown within this area, and where's the sweep of it? I've talked about this many times in my videos. Here's the origin of breakdown. And what I mean by that is bouncing ball, okay, support, failed support, origin of the breakdown, new lows in comparison to these lows here, and then chop, down below here. Now coming up and sweeping that origin of the breakout. That's right to the mark, a sweep of that breakdown area, okay? And so why do I cover this? I cover it because it gives a lot of context to what we're currently seeing, meaning that I don't think this is going to be an area that's easily broken. Look how long it took to break down below it. Do you think it's just going to smash right through it? You know, a multi-month area of support is now resistance that we're going to smash right through it. I don't think so. So it keeps you objective. It keeps you patient. So next, we're going to talk about the market structure break here that we saw. Okay. Let's flip quickly to the weekly. So on the weekly, where's the market structure break? Right here, okay? That led to this nice move up. And then we also have another one here on probably even higher time frame. And you'll notice as I drag that line out that it swept very nicely down here on this correction. Okay, so market structure break, this big red candle, huge red candle, invalidated by multiple strong green candles, up candles. Okay, invalidated, retested actually quite below here, and then a nice beautiful retest 3 times here on that demand zone. But ultimately this one was the beginning on a high time frame on the weekly, breaking out to lead to this move up. Okay, now let's flip back to the 12-hour. Okay, and I know that this is quite a large move, but in theory, if we stick to fundamentals, this is our swing low, okay, off of the move down here, and that's our swing high. So what does that form? Well, it forms our range. Okay, so we've got range high down to the range low, even down to that wick actually, right there. Okay, so range low band here, and then range high band up there. Quite a large range, I'll give you that, right? Not necessarily a small range when you're zooming into smaller, shorter time frame, but you know, the rules apply to this as well. We got our swing low and our swing high, so there's our range. And I'm loving this range because we got some confluence here. If you were looking to get long off of this market structure break, right, you said, okay, on a high time frame in the weekly, there's your market structure break. And what does it line up nicely with? When we got this swing high, you're going to look at an entry down in that market structure break and likely the 50th percentile here, the mid-range of this overall macro range that we've got, the dotted line right there. So we've got the market structure break here, the solid line from the weekly, right? And then we've got the mid 50% of this overall range here that you can see we've tapped very nicely. Just tapped 1, 2, maybe 3 here, and 4 times very briefly. So strong demand down there. No real nasty deviations, and ultimately hanging out in the upper 50 percentile of this range the entire time. After this market structure break, it didn't even come below the 50 percentile ever, not even once. So that is a huge sign of a strong asset, or I'll say at least a bullishly trending asset. Now let's pull the fib out. So from this bottom of the move to the top of the move, okay, we'll take it down here. Let's see what happens here. So we'll go down to the bottom of the move there, to the top of the move. I know it's getting busy now, but stay with me. We've got the 50th percentile here. I'll drag it way over here so you can see it easier, okay? We've got this extra added confluence right with the 50th percentile. Yes, typically you say it comes down to the 618, right? Typically traders aim for the 618. However, if it's very bullish, it doesn't have to, right? So you start to look at these fibs and you start to say, okay, I'm going to wait for an entry on one of these fibs that it's respecting at least, right? And it's respected it once, twice here. So when you're coming down here, you know, you bet your ass that you're going to try and get long on that third attempt. Right in here, the 50th percentile of the overall fib from this move here, okay, bottom to the top of that move only, okay? Okay, let's evaluate the current move that we're seeing here on the daily now. So we've made a higher high, okay, and so one of the things in bear markets that I really don't want to see if you want to push higher is I don't want to see bearish divergence. So let's see what relative strength index is doing. Okay, so relative RSI made a higher high, okay, so we don't have bearish divergence. That's nice to see. So we got higher high in price, higher high in RSI. So that's fine. No real concern there. We are in overbought territory on the daily at least, okay? So that's fine. Just good to check in on it. Let's see what the MACD is doing. Okay, MACD looks decent here, right? We came out of this low, we made a high, and then obviously established some sort of strength here. And obviously just right here when we were dipping right on the 50th mid-range here, the 50th percentile of the fib, right? So now making another high, so found some sort of support, if you will, on the MACD, which is also good to see. So despite with everything else going on, it's hard to argue that Binance Coin BNB is not trending. To me, it looks like it follows the criteria of a trending asset in an uptrend, okay, at this point, so until proven otherwise. So since it follows the criteria, you have to assume that the continuation is going to happen, even though we're coming right into support here. So we'll look at some low time frame stuff here in a second, but I just want to cover one more high time frame thing. If we zoom to the weekly here, and we can see, let me just hide these. We can see that clearly the 200, this is the 200 weekly moving average here. We can clearly see that acting as support currently, okay? And I don't think that it's going to be straight up to all-time highs from here. I think we'll have some area for accumulation and more chances to get in lower. But what I want to do is I want to show you on the log chart. Back here in 2020 when we had our bear market, 2019, okay, into 2020, I'm going to rule out this as a deviation simply because that was the COVID crash, okay? So with that, what did we see? We held the 100 exponential moving average as support pretty nicely, a couple deviations below, and yes, had the COVID crash, but almost immediately V-reversed up and regained that level. So we held the 100 exponential moving average during the bear market until we made all-time highs. So now, of course, with the steep correction here in this bear market, a bit more drastic, I'll give that, but as time goes on, the longer the moving averages will be respected, right? So the 200-week moving average now being kind of that new simple exponential moving average that it is respecting very well. So I would really ultimately like to see that hold, right? So it's right here where we essentially had our local bottom for now. And the 200 moving average here, exponential moving average, if it kind of hovers like this, I would love to see price, say we come back down, sure, I would love to see price absolutely hold that level into the future in our accumulation zone, right? In accumulation meaning I'd be somewhere basically down here, I'd be calling this our area of accumulation before taking off. But that's getting a little bit too much into the future, so we'll leave that alone. But the point remains that I would like to see the 200 exponential moving average hold. Okay, let's zoom into small time frame, short time frame, and see what we're seeing. Now, this is obviously scary chop with the recent events that happened today, right? Very nasty. I'm not interested in trading this. Very choppy, very unpredictable, and it's just hunting your stops, okay? So let me clean up the chart. Where did we retrace to on this dump, though, right? Let's look at that. So from the bottom of the move to the top of the move, and we're taking from this guy here, okay? Retrace to bang on the 618 level. So that's a healthy correction for sure. However, since it was so sharp, I'm not convinced that this correction is over. I don't think it's going to come straight up from here. I could see this wick getting filled a little bit more down here. So over time, I could see this chopping back down, coming back down to the low of the wick there. And then I would really like to see a reaction off that and a break in market structure before heading up if this wants to continue. So this could take some more time, something like that, but maintaining really the bottom of this wick at the end of the day, really maintaining that low. So it might look like it's coming down further, but ultimately it's already come down here and swept a lot of demand, right? So that's fine. If we were not to get that, and you think that the correction is over at this point, then ultimately zooming in, we're on the 1 hour here. We have had a bit of a market structure break here, I will say actually. So basically this last down candle invalidated, violated by this up candle. Okay, so there's obviously some sort of bullish order block in here right now. Okay, right there, that this could potentially be the retest. But we're coming up right into that 200 EMA right here. So potentially come up into the 200, okay, come back down, eventually actually get our bullish order block retest there and then up. Sure, that could happen, right? So I'm watching this level carefully on low time frame. I would be, if you're looking to trade this, I would like to see this absolutely hold. I don't want to see, if you're thinking this is coming up, I'd be invalidated below this bullish order block, below these lows right here. That's where my stop would be. Because like I said, I could see this easily coming back down and filling up some more this wick right here, okay? But all in all, Binance Coin, BNB, has been relatively strong, okay? I'll give it the credit that it I think deserves. Now, why is that? Sometimes it's good to check in on the Bitcoin chart too, like Binance, BNB versus BTC. And just look at that, you guys. Look at this. I'm not even going to do any TA on this to give you the picture of what's going on here. Obviously, heavily increasing in value against Bitcoin. Relative strength is very strong, and this helps typically with the USD chart as well. So the strength is there. We're trying to push with Ethereum. We want to see Ethereum push up against Bitcoin as well. And Ethereum's lagging, it's stalling, but I do think it will have its run. But that's what you want to see. You're right. This is a very beautiful chart against Bitcoin, and it's a great sign. So Binance Coin is strong, and I think it's very telling of where it's headed in the future. And with everything going on fundamentally in the background right now as well, there's some interesting things going on. Thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the engagement. Honestly, I do. Please give me a like and subscription if you enjoy this content. I promise to continue to put it out as much as I can. You can follow me on Twitter at CryptoVatsik as well for a lot more frequent updates. I will see you there, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks again. Bye.